Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Madness here on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is going on Michael Fletcher alongside my good buddy Anthony Florio, and tonight we are going to be recapping NXT and AEW Dynamite. I really doubt we're going to get into a Bruins beat. I think Michael Bullock is probably too pissed off, too angry. I would not be surprised if he doesn't show up on the show tonight. Uh, because I think Anthony, we can say it. The Boston Bruins got flat out humiliated here tonight. Um, the
That was a
the
hungry team, man. That was a hungry team.
the
They
Florida
were
Panthers,
they
the
were
Florida
embarrassed.
the Florida Panthers were literally a team on fire tonight. They just absolutely crushed the Boston Bruins. I mean, the Bruins blew them out in game one, and Florida came right back and is like, oh, yeah? Okay, watch this. And the tempers flew. We had, what, 14 players thrown out of the game? There was like a whole bunch of misconduct penalties, to say the very least. So, like I said, I really doubt there's going to be a Bruins beat here tonight. If there is, buckle down your chin straps, folks, because it's going to be a very rough night if you're a Boston Bruins fan. Um, but with that, we do move on. We will start with NXT, and then we will follow with AEW. So let's start off with NXT first. We started it out with Wesley going up against Josh Briggs. Wesley winning the match in 10 minutes and 7 seconds. Um, it was a solid opener. It was a solid opener. It was a good matchup. It was a pretty good fight, to say the very least. And like I said, I thought it was an emphatic beatdown or an emphatic match. Good action all the way through. Wesley winning, not a big surprise. However, what was a surprise was we had Ivar at ringside. They basically tried to, play the role here, try to do everything that they could do. And you could tell they might have just opened the door for maybe a possible fatal four-way for the North American title. Uh, you know, uh, Obi Fima was watching this on top of the crow's nest, as they like to call it. He was watching the action, all the chaos that was running ensue, and he was loving every minute of it. Loves the competition, loves the attitude, and everything else. He thought it was really good. Hey, I enjoyed it. This was at least a bit, about maybe 2.5, close to 3. Anthony Florio, Wesley wins in 10-22.
Indeed, he does. And I gotta tell you, Wesley looked unstoppable in his first match back. And while Josh Briggs tested the back of his opponent, he kept fighting through and winning with a driving corkscrew senton. Wesley, one of NXT's most underrated performers, is back and delivering from the jump. He sold a physical attack of Briggs on his back while ramping up the intensity throughout the battle. He looked completely healthy and motivated. And I'm going to tell you, I think he would be a perfect opponent for Obafemi at Battleground at the UFC Apex next month. While this does push Josh Briggs back in line, he has made an impression in NXT all his own and will get more chances to challenge for gold sooner than later. A feud with Ivar is brewing that could help him continue to advance. And NXT started with a vignette highlighting Lee's long journey back to action, which was brilliantly done. And Lee was applauded backstage as he headed to the ring, happy to be back with one goal in mind. Ivar joined commentary to watch this match closely. Lee knocked Briggs outside with a cartwheel kick, then drop-kicked the big man into the Viking Raider. Ivar and Briggs brawled after the bell until Lee dived onto both men, and Femi laughed at all three from the stage. So, not much more to say here. This was a good 3 to 3.25 star match. So, MF, set me up for the next match.
If you want to talk about it, we can. This was Shayna Baszler versus Carmen Petrovic. Shayna Baszler does win the match in 4:17. I do leave it to you if you want to talk about it or not, Floria.
I'm going to talk about this.
Okay.
It deserves to be talked about, to be honest with you. So, Carmen Petrovich tried to make a statement at Shayna Baszler's expense. However, the Queen of Spades wore her down, then caught her in the Kirifuda clutch to force a submission. It is always good to see Shayna Baszler leading into her ruthless technical offense, dissecting a body part with precision. She did what she could going up against Petrovic, who barely looked comfortable hitting her basic kicks. The right woman won, and this feud is running out of steam. Lola Vice already got her win, and Baszler hardly looks comfortable working with her long term. And NXT showed highlights from the great underground match last week before this match started. Baszler trapped the left arm of Petrovic in the metal frame underneath the ring and stomped her, beginning a focused attack on the arm. Queen of Spades did not seem amused with Lola Vice's need to dance and taunt after the bout. And later, Natalya tried to coach Petrovic on taking the offensive in matches. She knocked out some creepy perv, chatting her up backstage with a roundhouse kick. Yeah, that's what you get there, homeboy. So not much more to say on this. It's a 2-star match. But I thought, it was a solid and decent follow-up to the underground match from last week. So my rating is 2 to 2.25 stars. So MF, what says you?
I'd just say a solid 2. I thought they did an all right job. I mean, was it perfect? No. Was I really enjoying it? Yeah, for the most part. But I do like the combination of having Natalya there, to get into Carmen and to really help her, build her up. And she was absolutely right. You're so into, the karate, the taekwondo, that normally react as a defensive type fighter. Normally what you do is you normally go on counterattacks. You don't really go full force. You don't really go, full, go into a different mindset where, you kind of let the action come to you. You don't initiate the action. And I think Natalya tutelage of her actually was really good. And I really enjoyed what she said. Again, that mother hen type attitude, or the mother hen that Natalya is. You always want to listen to a wily veteran. That's like if I'm trying to work in professional wrestling or anything else, I got, thanks to the guys of the RWA, I know I would soak all that information in and learn the craft. You always want to learn from the people who's done it and who's been big stars, big names in wrestling. And Natalya is one of, like you said, one of the hardest working women in all of professional wrestling. So there's nothing to sneeze at. And yeah, the Guinness Book of World Records stuff that she had, that is legit, folks. That is real. And those records that she's been breaking are basically, second to none. Everybody's calling her a Hall of Famer already, that she has a Hall of Fame resume. There's not much of an argument there, folks. It's not just the titles and the accolades that she's won, the Guinness Book of World Records stuff. It's the longevity of her wrestling career that makes Natalya, or Natty Neidhart, a Hall of Famer. I know I will say that, Anthony. I know you'll agree with that. That she definitely is a future Hall of Famer when she decides to hang up the wrestling boots once and for all.
Absolutely.
So, and like I said, it was good that Carmen is being leaned on by Natalya. Now, yeah, I'm sorry that her calling Carmen a smoke show. Yeah, you kind of deserved what you got with that roundhouse kick. And let me tell you, that roundhouse kick was clean. Like, It was clean. That hit. Could not do it. Like, I seen a few roundhouse kicks in my day. That was one of the nicest ones that Carmen delivered. That was it. Like I said, it was a clean shot. No arguments. All right. So with that said, we'll move on. Next up we had was, let me see if it can get me. All right. It was a tag team fight. It was Tyson DuPont and Tyrick Igwe. They went up against Miles Bourne and Charlie Dempsey. Special guest referee was Channing Stacks Lorenzo. And we were like, wait a minute, why is the Stacks the referee on this one? Unfortunately, I don't know if you guys know, but the current referee, let's just say he got kidnapped. Kidnapped and then thrown into an ice box is what we found out. Yeah, the family tried to get their thing. And when it was all said and done, Tyreek Igwe and Tyson DuPont won the match in roughly 4 minutes. There's really not much to talk about. This was sloppy. It was not good. It was basically, this was the classic where Michael Willick as the face commentator. I'm kind of the neutral. Anthony Floyd would have had a field day with this one. Anthony Floyd, the heel commentator, definitely would have came out saying, how the heck can you call that a fair fight?
What is the purpose of this?
And what was the purpose of this? But
this is an atrocity.
At the end of the day, that's how it played out. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna rate this match. I'm sorry, I'm not. I kind of felt like
can
there's
we just move on from it? I don't really want to talk about it.
Yeah, there's not much to talk about here. Then after the match, so they go back to the locker room area, and basically Tony D'Angelo. Then you got the whole crew. You got Tony D'Angelo and the family. They open the icebox. This poor referee, you poor bastard, just shivering in the icebox. You lost your shirt. They give the shirt back. And then I think Tony D'Angelo actually gave him a C-note. I think he gave him $100 for all his trouble. They're like, oh, no hard feelings. We're sorry. Here, you did a great job, man. You're a tough soul. You're a tough kid. You're a good soldier. And then they let him be, and they walk away. So yeah, I mean, cheesy, clumsy, whatever you want to call it, it is what it is. All right. Then we had a backstage moment. Chelsea Green, Ariana Grace, and Gigi Dolan. Oh my freaking God. Okay. WWE, NXT, whoever thought of this, you need a raise. You need an absolute raise. Ariana Grace and Chelsea Green is absolute dynamite. It was fire. Everybody was loving this on the internet. They could not believe the chemistry of these two women. And I need to say this, and believe it or not, there are people that are talking about them maybe having a, I don't know what to call it, like a Iconics 2.0. Let's say it that way. This was like Iconics 2.0. You could say maybe, man, I don't even know who would be Billy Kay and who would be Peyton Royce in this. But that's what we were getting. And the fans were saying that. They're like, we're getting vibes of the Iconics. And deep down, they're like, you gotta work this together. You gotta make this happen. Some people are saying they could be the next NXT Tag Team Champions. And I mean, Lord Michael Bullock, good luck if these two win the belts. But I don't know, man. I was loving this. I was like, I even said on social media, I was like, we never asked for this, but God damn it, I love this. And whoever thought of this brilliant idea. If this was Shawn Michaels or Ava, oh my God, you need a freaking raise. Thank you for giving me such a beautiful moment that none of us expected. It was too good. It was too good. Speaking of Ariana, she went up against Mia Yim or Michin, and it was Michin. Mia Yim. She won it. 3 minutes, 25 seconds. Yeah, it was fine. There's not much that we could say about it. She's trying to get back into we're trying to get Mia Yim back. I'm glad she's finally on NXT because she's a damn good wrestler, guys. If you give Mia Yim an opportunity, she can light it up. She can really tear it up, do some really good stuff. I enjoyed it. I really liked it. So it doesn't really need to be talked about. It's just nice win for Mia, and we'll just move right there. Next up, we need to get into this. The Noam Dar Supernova Sessions, and their guest was the NXT champion, Trick Williams. So, we finally found out what the contents of that envelope was. It was a photo of a match in the past between Noam Dar and Trick Williams, where it looks like Noam Dar's foot was underneath the rope. The match, in theory, should have continued, but I guess Trick went on to win that match via that minor controversy. Obviously, we were thoroughly disappointed by the reveal of what was on the envelope. We thought it was something more saucy, something more crazier. Oh no, we got the crazy after the fact. Because Trick Williams kind of like, hey, wait a minute, you know what? If you guys are pitching a fit over a photo that happened months back, bro, if you want a shot at the NXT title, all you just have to do is just ask. I'll put the title on the line. I'll fight you. I got no problem with that. I want to be a fighting champion. So he's like, I got no issue with that. If you want to dance, we'll dance. But there's something that needs to be skirted right now too. And then we got this little thing between Lash Legend and Trick Williams, and boy, I got my money's worth. Boy, the popcorn and the soda came out, and let's just say I was whooping this up. I was eating this up. It was, beautiful. It was crazy. It had a Jerry Springer, Maury Povich vibe. I was loving it. No, Dar wasn't. Back fist to Trick Williams. Down he went. And Noam Dar stood over Trick, had the NXT title, and showed it over his head. Lash Legend wasn't really loving it. She was very genuinely concerned for Trick Williams, while the others, I don't know, they kind of feel a little conflicted about what they definitely are on Noam Dar's side. Lash Legend, she is definitely on the fence right now. You can definitely tell she's on the fence. And the one moment that really got us going was, how Trick Williams was like Trick Willy Wonka, and she said, babe, and the crowd went nuts. I was like, ooh, 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 ooh. I was eating it. I was like, oh, this is getting good now. So, Anthony Florio, look, this segment will not be for everybody. It's not. The reveal of the contents on the envelope, disappointing, mildly disappointing. However, the interaction between Trick Williams and Lash Legend and the flirtation, dude, whoa, we thought it was crazy a couple of weeks. We thought it was crazy a couple of weeks ago. Like it's life imitating art, folks. Florio, it's yours.
Yes, indeed. This amounted to a whole lot of nothing. Trick himself even called out that his time was wasted in this segment. While Noam Dar can be a solid challenger for Trick, he does not come off as a real threat to the NXT champion's reign. It may be hard to sustain this feud for a month in the battleground. The best part of these segments so far is the obvious chemistry between Lash Legend and Trick Williams. If this leads to Lash working with Trick more, that might be the best option for all involved. And, MF, you pretty much said everything else there is to say on this. The Willy Wonka thing, yeah. Jakara Jackson had trouble making Legend focus on metaphor and the group's goals throughout this segment. Legend slipped and called Trick Babe. Trick revealed that she also calls him Trick Willy Wonka. And then Javon Evans called out Metaphor in the parking lot for attacking Trick. So, yeah, a lot to dissect here, no doubt about it. And segment's not for everybody. MF, I know you enjoyed it. Me, honestly, I was a little iffy on it. So
I get it.
So, got to be honest here. Tell it like it is. So
Yeah.
with that being said, we got ourselves a battle of one-time good friends, now bitter enemies.
Fallon Henley going one-on-one with Kalani Jordan. Fallon Henley winning the match in 11 minutes and 3 seconds. Florio, it is yours.
All right. Very good match here. 3.25 stars. This is a match that could have been hyped more before it happened, but it was still a great showcase for the new heel edge of Fallon Henley. Henley was unleashed in this match, hitting hard and fast throughout. The action got a bit choppy down the stretch as they tested their dynamic, but the chemistry between them was still apparent. Since the two are no longer partners, the best way to explore that chemistry in a longer-term feud between them, they could be the foundation of the Women's North American Championship scene. While Henley's recent booking was flat, it was good to see it lead to a much-needed evolution. She needed this win badly and will hopefully keep stacking up victories from here. Jordan questioned why Henley would turn on Thea Hale in the locker room, and then they almost came to blows. And then Henley nearly knocked out Jordan by wrenching her head first into the top rope. And that's really all there is to say on that. So, good match here. 3.25 stars for me. So, not much more to say. MF, you're looking at two of the favorites in that North American Championship picture.
Yeah, you can definitely say that. About 2.25, 3. I thought they did a really good job. It was a solid match, so nothing more to say there. And then we finally got the results from the combine. The 12 in the order. We have it, guys. Here it is, officially. Number 12 is Ren Sinclair. 11, Tatum Paxley. 10, Kalani Jordan. Number 9 is Izzy Dane. 8, Ivy Nile. 7, Lash Legend. 6, Fallon Henley. Number 5 was Meechin. Number 4 was Breland Reese. Number 3, Jada Parker. Number 2 was Thea Hale. And the number 1 female that came out of the NXT Women's Combine was Sol Ruka. She is the top star in the ladder match qualifiers. It is gonna be now. Remember how the format goes. So it goes from 1 versus 12, 2 versus 11, and so forth and so on. That will lead us to, I guess, the way that they're going to determine it is the winners of those matches moves on, and they will have that opportunity to become the first ever NXT North American Women's Champion. So, Anthony, why don't you give me a quick thought on on the combine rankings. What did you think of it? Were you surprised? Were you happy? Do you think some people should have been higher than others? Where do you stand on the rankings?
Sol Ruka absolutely deserves to be number one, and because her athleticism is out of this universe, and I was honestly surprised to see Thea Hale at number two. I mean, I heard some great things about Lash Legend. Lash Legend, did well in did really well in one of the events, and these were pretty much the names that I expected. Ivy Nile, called. Correct me if I'm wrong, but she's on the main roster, so I don't know what she's doing in NXT for this, but she did very well from what I can surmise here.
Well, Michin, same thing. She's on the main roster, but she was a part of this.
Yeah, Michin at number 5. Very well done. But like I said, Ren Sinclair coming in at number 12. She's relatively new. Tatum Paxley coming in at number 11. Very solid here. So I mean, they look good to me. I honestly don't know what to make of it, but hey, Sol Ruka. I mean, like I said, Sol Ruka, I'm kind of not surprised that she finished at number 1 based on her natural athleticism. And she currently is the favorite. If we're going to base it off of this, Sol Ruka would have to be the favorite right now to possibly win this. But right now, Fallon Henley is standing out as an early favorite for me. Thea Hale could be another one to watch. We do have some qualifying matches that will be taking place on next week's show.
Yeah,
we're gonna be starting the qualifiers, and the 6 winners will advance to the Battleground event at the UFC Apex next month on June the 9th. And I believe, and next week, I'm trying to find the lineup here.
I got it here, Florio. It's Izzy Dane 1-on-1 with Sol Ruka and Ivy Nile versus Lash Legend.
I think Ruka and Lash go over.
Okay.
That's all I can honestly say about it. Sol is the current favorite, but watch out for Fallon Henley. I mean, I think this would be, if you want to start doing some big things for Fallon Henley, I think this could be her moment. So, Fallon's the one to watch. That's the dark horse. But to me, Sol Ruka is the favorite based on her amazing athletic ability, and I would not at all be surprised if she walks away with it. So,
all right,
her on a ladder. Imagine what she can do on a ladder. Ooh, that's gonna be some fun stuff.
Oh yeah, that's dangerous.
That soul snatcher from a ladder.
Oh,
I predict we're gonna get one.
All right.
And make Vic Joseph lose his mind, which I love. So, and Booker will do his shucky ducky quack quack. Yeah, yeah, you know that. So
I am. Yeah.
But anyways, I like the sports feel of it. They made it feel like the NFL. When the NFL does theirs. I mean,
yeah,
I enjoyed the concept of it. Congratulations to all 12 who qualified, and may the best woman win ultimately at that UFC Apex, which I know MF knows very much about. So,
yeah.
So with that being said, let's move on.
The UFC Apex, to let you folks know, it's almost similar to the Performance Center in WWE. The Apex is normally the home of the UFC. That's where they do their Ultimate Fighter stuff. That's where they do their Contender Series. That's where they do practically every and non-pay-per-view events. It's at the Apex. Fight nights, UFC Fight Pass specials. This is kind of their version of the WWE Performance Center. It's not a big venue, so that's why this show it's absolutely perfect to be held at the Apex for NXT. It's not a monster venue. As a matter of fact, you could probably fit in about 500 people. That's all it is. So you kind of feel, if anybody wants to know what the Apex is about, think of it as the WWE Performance Center UFC style. That's exactly what it is. There's nothing different about the Apex. So fine for what it's worth. Next up, we did have was the next match of the evening, as it was it was Lexis King. He went up against Duke Hudson, and when it was all said and done, Lexis King wins the match in 4 minutes and 13 seconds. Ridge Holland, where's your loyalty there, bro? What are you trying to do? What's your end game? What's your strategy? Where are you going with this? You were trying to help Thea. We get it. Lexis King came out, started talking a whole bunch of junk. Duke Hudson stepped up and like, no, you ain't doing that. So you're being a jerk. Knock it off. If you wanna do something, we can do this tonight. And Lexis King's like, you know what? Fine, I'm done with this. We're gonna deal with this, in the ring. They have the match. Lexis King wins. Mistake by Duke Hudson. Some people are like, was that legit? Was he like, what is this about? I don't know. We'll see. So not much to say. I'm not really gonna talk about it at all. And if you want to give a quick thought, or we can go right into the main event.
No, MF. I'm gonna give. I owe it to the people out there to give you an honest opinion about this match, and I would be glad to do that. So, this was about par for the course with Lexis King's matches. He was technically proficient, but the action never picked up. It did not help that it only got 4 minutes, though. King picks up another win as he finally starts to build some momentum. He has done a solid job of establishing himself in NXT as the man no one likes, which should keep him on television. The main story in this moment seemed to be Ridge Holland working with Chase U. In his continued struggles to find his way, Chase U is an intriguing option, but if I'm going to be honest with you, MF, it seems likely it's not going to work out. I really don't think so. Holland listened carefully to a distraught Thea Hale backstage and seemed to get along with Chase U. King ruined the moment, setting up this match. And in other news, Jasmine Nix warned Thea Hale that she was coming for her after breaking JC Jane's nose. Lexis King was more focused on Thea Hale at ringside than Duke Hudson, even heading outside to taunt her during the action. And Ridge Holland apologized backstage afterward to Chase U and promised to earn their trust. I'm a little intrigued. I'm intrigued to see where it goes. As for the match, it was another solid 2-star effort. So Lexis King starting to finally build momentum, which is good. Yeah. So hopefully we can keep this thing going. So with that being said, we got a big main event here, MF, and one that I know Michael Bullock was damn near chewing his nails throughout.
NXT Women's title on the line. Roxanne Perez putting it on the line against Chelsea Green. Much to the relief of Michael Bullock and much to the chagrin of myself and Anthony Florio, the winner of the bout, 8 minutes and 55 seconds, and still the NXT Women's Champion, Roxanne Perez, the Prodigy, does it. Somewhere in Rumford, Rhode Island, Michael Bullock let out a big sigh of relief, while me and Anthony Florio were like, God damn it. Man, that would have been so amazing to see Chelsea Green as NXT Women's Champion.
But it was expected.
Yes. We kind of were joking with Bullock about the what if. However, the what if was never going to happen. I think we all can agree with it. And then we had one of the greatest backstage things offline where Chelsea Green and Ariana Grace basically had a cry fest saying how unfair the whole night was on NXT, only for Ava to go on social media and just say two words, Anthony. Oh dear. Florio, it's yours. 8:55, Roxanne Perez, the Prodigy, still the NXT Women's Champion.
Solid 3-star match. The dynamic of this bout should have been awkward since both are heels. But Chelsea naturally slipped into the crowd favorite role in this battle as Roxanne mocked and belittled her. It was fun to see Chelsea in a new role and competing in a match of this magnitude. She looked like she belonged in the NXT main event scene, nearly stealing one from the Prodigy. The home stretch did not quite sell the possible upset, but the crowd was very much behind the possible result. For a one-off title defense, this was a solid showcase that made clear why Roxanne Perez will fit the main roster so well when the time comes. In an interview, Roxanne Perez promised to make this title defense all about her. Chelsea nearly took the win in seconds with an arm trap roll-up. And Chelsea fired back after a beatdown from the champ with a Rough Rider in honor of her husband, the former Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona. Roxanne Perez countered the unprettier, followed by Chelsea countering Pop Rocks. The two traded pinfall attempts that almost delivered the 3 count. That Pop Rocks at the end looked a little botched to me, if I'm going to be honest with you.
It wasn't clean. It was not clean. But
it was effective. So, solid 3 stars, and I'd say third best fight of the night. It's the top. As for fight of the night, I'm leaning a little towards Wes Lee and Josh Briggs, but right behind that was Fallon Henley and Kalani Jordan.
Yeah.
If you're pressed for time, those are the 3 matches you should give a look. So
yeah,
that's all I can say. Solid 3.
It was a fun main event. It was a solid 3. I agree with that. The match itself was all right. I mean, I didn't have anything wrong with it. I didn't feel anything bad about it. I think they did a good job. I thought it was solid for what it was worth. Am I disappointed about the outcome? Yes. Obviously, just sheepishly, I was rooting for Chelsea to win the title. But at the end, we knew the outcome was there. We knew that probably Roxanne was going to go over. It was, like I said, it was a solid main event. 3 stars. Anthony, you alluded to it. There was only 3 good matches on the show. A lot of it was rushed. It looked like it was an off week for NXT, unfortunately. I can only give this maybe 5.5 out of 10. There was some okay stuff. The beginning was great. When Wes Lee and Josh Briggs started, that was a great match. The Fallon Henley versus Kalani Jordan was excellent. The stuff that they did about the combine, I actually thought it was really good. I thought they did really well with the combine. I enjoyed it. It was a nice little thing, a nice little look and twist. I would like to see that with the men, maybe for the North American title sometime down the line. Do a men's combine and do that same format, same formula, whatever you want to call it. I would like to see that in the very near future. The main event was a solid main event. Chelsea Green looked amazing. You know, it looked like she was not out of place at all. And just the way that she commanded the crowd in that match, she is a star, guys. As much as she's a comedy gimmick, as much as she can get on everybody's last nerves, trust me, she got on my last nerve. She got on Florio's nerve. She got on Bullock's nerve. So we're all kind of like, oh, every time we see her. But damn it to hell, she is entertaining as F. There's nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, back to reality NXT.
Yep.
A very disappointing show, but it's not like it was a dumpster fire. There was a couple of good moments, but as a whole, it was definitely a letdown.
5.5 to 6 for me as well. This was an expected down week after spring breaking. Though it was a shame that so many matches fell into the 3 to 4 minute window that make NXT what it's known for over the last few years. The opener and main event were important spots for Roxanne Perez and Wes Lee to show up what they can do. In a new look NXT after the WWE draft, they are major leaders for the brand. Fallon Henley showed why a heel turn may be the missing piece she needed to rise up the NXT roster. She, Kalani Jordan, and Thea Hale, as far as I'm concerned, are the women to watch in the Women's North American Championship scene. The Women's Combine did not work that well in practice due to how much required narrated montage. Seeing more of the action would have made the successes of the tournament qualifiers matter more. The rest of the card was forgettable and did not clearly build to the future of NXT, though the battleground picture may grow clearer soon. 5.5 to 6. MF, AEW Dynamite, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, the Rogers Place, the home of the Oilers. Let's go.
All right, and with that said, we start off with Orange Cassidy versus Trent Beretta. Orange Cassidy winning the match in 13 minutes and 20 seconds. Solid opener. 3 to 3.5 stars for me. This was what we expected. You know, Orange Cassidy opening the show. You already know it was going to be a really good one. At the end of the day, I thought they did a really good job with it. So there's really nothing more to say. Anthony, 3 to 3.5, and it is yours.
3.25, 3.5. Orange Cassidy looked more aggressive than usual and took control immediately. They eventually took the fight out of the ring and into the crowd as OC continued to be the aggressor. Don Callis showed up after they made it back to the ring and both men were trying to recover. The crowd was vocal about being unhappy to see him. He joined the commentary team during the break as Trent and OC went back and forth. Real reason is because Taz could not be on the show tonight due to an illness or an injury of some sort. So Taz was not on the show tonight. So I think they had him fill in, which was fine because he does have commentary experience, you know.
Oh, yes.
Going back to not only ECW, but also the great work he did with Josh Matthews and Impact. So
not only that, but he also had a great run in New Japan with Kevin Kelly. In New Japan Pro Wrestling. And he also did work a brief time with Ian Riccaboni at Ring of Honor. But that was just a brief time.
Yeah. And of course, his ECW work when he was this Cyrus guy?
Yes.
So, all right.
Cyrus the Virus.
Cyrus the Virus. Okay. But anyways, they did a good job making it look like Trent Beretta knew all of Orange Cassidy's tricks and had a counter for each one. Since this fight was so personal, neither man was interested in getting the pin quickly, so they took a long time to get to the first pinfall attempt. After both men removed a turnbuckle pad, OC was able to send Trent into the exposed metal before rolling him up for a pin. As soon as he was back up, Beretta attacked OC again. Decent bout that made it clear this feud was far from over. The ref ignored the rules a bit too much for a standard bout, but most of what we saw was performed well. Beretta hit a pile driver on the steel steps as he continued to dish out punishment. Don Callis ended up taking OC away, while Chris Statlander tried to talk to Trent. And the announcers mentioned Chuck Taylor will be undergoing surgery soon, and Orange Cassidy hurdling the barricade was kind of impressive. So 3.25, 3.5. I absolutely agree with the ratings. So with that, oh baby, we move on. We got ourselves some women's action, and I'm going to tell you right now, friends, this was the mother of all Tony specials. Oh, baby. MF.
I know Mariah May. I never heard of Harley Cameron. But boy, tonight, oh, yeah. Okay. Now I see why you like this one. Harley Cameron, Mariah May winning the match in 9 minutes and 10 seconds. Anthony Florio, go ahead, wax poetic on this one. This one, like you said, this was a Tony special, and go ahead.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't have the hard eye emojis throughout this particular bout.
Mm-hmm.
And the heart pounding out of my chest, you know, because these are two absolute stunners. I mean, Mariah May out of jolly old England and Harley Cameron out of Australia. So, of course, she's a part of that. she's now a part of that Outcast stable with Soraya, aka Paige, and also Harley I'm surprised you didn't know Harley Cameron, MF, but she used to be a part of that QTV thing with QT Marshall and all those guys. And
like I said, she only had like a cup of coffee type of a run with QT Marshall, so she kind of was there and then kind of disappeared, as they would say.
The girl can sing too. I mean, she can sing. Let me tell you, if you didn't see those moments where she sang on the show, oh, amazing. But it's not often she wrestles, but this was definitely a treat for me personally. They're both 5 stars. They're both 5 stars when it comes to beauty, but the match obviously not a 5-star classic. But then again, we didn't expect it to be. And all right, so let's dive on in here to this Tony special. Okay. I'll tell you what, it ended up being the best performance we have seen from Harley Cameron in the ring, and thankfully AEW gave them enough time so nothing felt rushed. From an in-ring perspective, it was a solid outing for both women. After Mariah scored the win, Mina Shirakawa made the save as Harley and Soraya kept attacking her. Mariah scooped her up, and they almost kissed again before deciding to have some, well, in the immortal words of Chris Jericho, a little bit of the bubbly. So there is a good chance we will get Mariah May and Mina Shirakawa versus Soraya and Harley Cameron, maybe at Double or Nothing on that 0 hour or something by the looks of it. This was the most wrestling ability we have seen from Harley Cameron in AEW. It was nice getting to see her do more than comedy stuff for a change. And that's really all I can say on it. So what was that time of the fall again? 8, 9?
9-10.
9-10. Solid 3. And I'll call it the sleeper fight of the night. I know for a lot of people they're thinking, oh yeah, this has the makings of a ho-hum diva fight. No, this was anything but a ho-hum diva fight.
Yeah.
Way to watch it. This was actually, like I said, Harley's best effort. But then again, Mariah May's a capable worker, so I'm not surprised that she made Harley look good here. So 5 stars for the beauty for both ladies, but 3 stars for the match. So sleeper fight of the night. MF, I'll tell you right now, for me personally, I got more than my money's worth.
Yeah. I actually saw a video earlier today. It was with Harley Cameron, and he was cutting a promo, and it looked like they kind of kidnapped the camera guy and held him against his will when they started this. And I'm like, whoa. Okay, this one is a little out there. I don't know about this one. Good match. I'll give it about 2.5 to 3. I enjoyed it. You could say maybe the outcome was never in doubt because Mariah got the win. Cameron is still kind of trying to get her feet wet back in AEW. So I thought they did an okay job with it. It could have been better in certain areas, but were we expecting a 5-star classic? Absolutely not. Were we expecting something a little better? Maybe, but I mean, it was serviceable. Let's say it like that. So, with that said, we're going to move right on along. Next up on the fight card, next up was the face-to-face between Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage, and it looked like everything was going good. And then the Mogul Embassy shows up and jumps Swerve Strickland. So Swerve Strickland got beaten down, got thrown through a table, and we're like, what the hell is going on? Why did that happen? At first, we were thinking, oh, Christian Cage maybe got, paid him off, got to the ear of him, whatever. No. It was even more sinister than that. This was actually orchestrated by the Young Bucks with the blessing by Christian Cage. So we already see the writing on the wall. The Bucks are going to do whatever it takes to make sure that Christian Cage becomes the next AEW World Heavyweight Champion. The battle lines are drawn. We now know how this is going to play. If Tony Khan is not back by Double or Nothing, and Kenny Omega is not back by Double or Nothing, we might have a situation where Christian Cage could become the World Heavyweight Champion and undermine all the work that Swerve Strickland has done to become the champion, to do everything that he needed to do to get the pop and the recognition that he got, that it could be all for naught because the Young Bucks does not like the current champion in AEW. And this was an emphatic statement. This was a message sent clear. And if you are a fan of Swerve Strickland, you're hoping for the best. But right now, it is not looking good for your guy. So that was unbelievable. At first, I'm thinking, why would the Mogul Embassy turn on him? Was it jealousy? I don't think so. Then once I saw the backstage moment, how the Young Bucks were applauding and they were like, oh, that was a perfect plan. It came out perfectly. It was brilliant. I'm like, they paid off the Mogul Embassy to jump Swerve Strickland for the benefit of Christian Cage. I know Michael Bullock would be flipping out right about now. This is emphatic as a statement as you can get. This would be like when Vince McMahon basically gave the undisputed WWE Championship to Chris Jericho. That was his champion, his guy, and didn't care about anybody else. The Young Bucks are making it very clear. They want Christian to be their champion as the elite champion for All Elite Wrestling. All right. Like I said, battle lines are drawn now. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
Yeah, then I don't know what to make of it. I mean, obviously segment of the night by default. I mean, but then again, there was something else after. But I'll tell you what, it's a great way to get heat on the match. I'll say that for sure. Swerve's going to win this thing. There is no question about it. Swerve is going to find a way to overcome this. I mean, ever since Swerve started breaking out on his own and winning the title, we were wondering what about the Mogul Embassy? I mean, where have they been? And they finally gave us a payoff on that. So I thought that was very well done. But good segment here. I love the intensity from Swerve, and I'm not gonna go on I'm not gonna go on one of those over the top crazy rants that Bullock always goes on. But not really a fan of it, to be honest with you. This whole business arrangement thing. I mean, the elite EVPs, they're doing their job. They want you to hate them, and they're doing their job because I honestly can't stand these guys, and I cannot stand the current direction of AEW right now. And it's like I said, this is reeking of WCW 2000. I'm telling you, it is. So, great fine segment, yes, but I'm just not feeling it. I'm telling you, I'm just not. So with all that being said, let's just move on to the next match.
All right, with that said, we do indeed move on to the next match, and that next match is Jay White going one-on-one with Rocky Romero. Jay White winning the match in 8 minutes and 10 seconds. So, Anthony, it is yours.
2.5 stars. Both of these men are celebrated workers, so it's not going to surprise anyone to hear they worked really well together. It took them almost no time to go from 0 to 60. This match had a little bit of everything and delivered some of the best action we saw all night. Switchblade won with a Blade Runner to end a fun match. 2.5 to 3. Fun little sprint. And the only real observation I have is Rocky Romero's tope suicida looks so effortless. I got to be honest with you. So 2.5 to 3, fun little sprint. So no surprise about the outcome. Had Rocky Romero won, then he would have earned a shot at those unified trios titles. My only question is, had he won, who would have been his two partners? That's what I would have liked to have known.
Well, I know one would have been Orange Cassidy. The third, we just don't know.
Because Chuck Taylor's injured and Trent Beretta turned on him. So.
Yeah, so the third would have been a complete mystery.
It would have.
Yeah. It would have been a virtual wild card. We never would have. We probably don't know who would have known who it would have been. But yeah,
so. 2.5 to 3, fun little sprint. And MF, I know you know the history of these two, dating back to their days in Ring of Honor and New Japan, right around 16, 17. The commentator said.
Yep, around 16 and 17. Kind of more because of the fact that Rocky Romero was part of Chaos. And of course, Jay White was one of the Moxie leaders of the proxy leaders of Bullet Club. So there were some run-ins. There were some run-ins a few times between these two guys. So yeah, more in tag team, not singles, unfortunately. But this was kind of one of the few singles matches that they had. And yeah, Jay White getting the big win. So next up we did have on the show was Chris Jericho and Big Bill wrestling two local guys from Edmonton. Jericho and Big Bill winning in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. We don't really need to talk about that one. That one is basically a washover. It did lead us to the main event of the evening. For the TNT title, Adam Copeland versus Brody King. And it was Adam Copeland winning the match in 18 minutes and 25 seconds. Fight of the night. 4.25 stars for me. This was hard-hitting, violent, bloody, and that's exactly what the match was going to be looking like, and it exactly got great psychology, great action. Brody King's just a monster, man, and he looked ever so amazing with it, with that blood, with the crimson mask and everything else, and with Adam Copeland just wondering, what do I gotta do to put this guy away? He threw everything but the kitchen sink, and Brody King was still kicking out, still staying in the fight. That was absolutely a phenomenal main event, an incredible battle. The right man won, no doubts, but you got to give it up for Brody King. Definitely the MVP of this main event, and he just rose his stock ever more higher than anybody else here tonight. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
4.25 fight of the night. This was as violent and physical as promised. Brody King may not have won the title, but he showed the world he is capable of being a top singles talent. The champ retained his title with his trademark spear to end a brutal fight. King attacked him once he was back up, but Kyle O'Reilly came out to make the save. Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Copeland ended the show standing tall. Let's see. King standing on the apron for so long while Copeland ran the ropes to hit a running shoulder was awkward. First time Copeland has performed in Edmonton in 14 years. Amazing. And the pool of blood from Brody King's head wound was nuts. Crimson mask, in the immortal words of the late, great Gordon Soley. And yeah, easily 4.25. And shortly after, they had a backstage moment. This upcoming Saturday night on AEW Collision in Vancouver, Adam Copeland, Kyle O'Reilly, TNT Championship match. Oh boy, that is going to be something. I think we got a show stealer on our hands. I really do. So, because Kyle O'Reilly said, hey, we're talking about my hometown, Vancouver, BC. So, the home of the Canucks. Going to be a goodie. So 4.25 stars. So oh yeah, well actually we have one more little bit of business, and yet again, those damn EVPs booked themselves in the main event segment of the show. What else is effing new? What else?
Yeah, but there was a little bit of surprise with that.
This is true.
So, as earlier in the night, Kenny Omega basically threw his EVP power at the Young Bucks and said, all right, look, I'm not a guy who normally makes matches, but I'm going to make a match. And it was going to be Anarchy in the arena at T-Mobile when this
MGM Grand.
MGM Grand, sorry. I thought it was T-Mobile. No, it's MGM. So at Double or Nothing, it's going to be Jack Perry, the Young Bucks, and Okada. And basically, you're going to be going up against FTR and two people of my choosing. So we didn't know who they were going to be. We found out very fast who they were. Eddie Kingston and the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson.
Wow.
Oh boy. Business has certainly picked up. Anthony Florio, the Young Bucks may have thought that they were gonna be, the stars of the show. I think Kenny Omega stole the thunder at the end of the night with the big announcements of his four, the Renegaders, to represent All Elite Wrestling, the Defenders against All Elite Wrestling.
Almost an Avengers Endgame, wouldn't you say?
In a way, but I don't know. I kind of felt like, they could have gone a different route with the two others. Don't get me wrong. I love Bryan Danielson. I love Eddie Kingston. This might be one battle, but there's another one coming up, I think, down the line that might be even more bigger, and that's Blood and Guts. I think this is just the first of a bigger war that's coming up.
Definitely. All right, let me get the negative aspect out of the way first. I'm starting to get sick and tired of having in-ring segments serve as the main event of your weekly television show. I believe this is 3 weeks in a row now that this has happened.
Yes. I believe it is 3 weeks in a row for AEW. Yes.
And it's overstaying, and it's overstaying the welcome. It really is. And the only way I would ever accept it is if it was like a major groundbreaking official type announcement that has to do with a championship or a retirement or something of that nature. I would be okay with that. But for these guys to throw their weight around and book themselves in the main event segment, not match, segment. I mean, if it was a match, fine, whatever, but segments. I don't want segments in the main event spot. I want matches in the main event spot. Is this not getting through to you guys? Okay, Minnie ran over. Now let's get into the business at hand. But before that, the show ended with Mercedes Moné giving a quick interview and Kyle O'Reilly asking Adam Copeland for a TNT title bout this coming Saturday on Collision, which was made official. When we returned to the arena, the Elite came out saying the show would only end when they said it could. Okay. Kazuchika Okada taunted Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks did the same to Tony Khan. FTR came out to respond and reveal their partners for Double or Nothing. Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson came out to join the team and marched to the ring for a fight to officially end the show. Tonight's Dynamite was a heavy mix of storyline developments and matches. 5 may sound low for an episode of Dynamite. Well, actually, no. I'll get into the overall stuff after. This is more about the segment at hand. So, it's going to be a great match. But one observation that I have to bring up here on that Team AEW. How in the world are Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston going to get along and coexist? There's bad blood there. Hello, there's bad blood there. So how are they going to coexist? Do I even need to take you back to the match they had? What was it? Revolution, was it? Or some pay-per-view? When those two threw down? There's history. There's legitimate bad blood. There's no love lost with those two. I am going to be very interested to see how those two get along when it comes to when we get to this particular bout. Very interesting to see. So, I like the match announcement. I mean, those 8 are going to tear it up. I mean, that's another potential show stealer for Double or Nothing. But like I said, the only thing that, and I'm going to continue to call them out on this until they get it right. No more segments in the main event. Matches, not segments, matches. Come on. That's it. So, but other than that, fine segments. So, but MF, like I said, how in the world are Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston going to coexist and get along for the sake of AEW? Good luck.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. I don't know how they're gonna coexist. That might be why they did that. I think Omega might have made a mistake there with the selection. They could have just done one with Eddie and then somebody else. But yeah,
I was expecting Mark Briscoe. I was expecting Mark Briscoe, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, but Mark Briscoe's been pretty busy now. But he is the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion.
That is
so
true.
I don't know.
That's true, but
I
was surprised to see Bryan. I really was.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Welcome surprise. I will say that. Welcome surprise.
But remember, when you're talking about an anarchy, when you're talking about
anarchy in the arena.
Anarchy in the arena,
anything goes.
Everything goes. So they don't necessarily have to be together in that fight when this thing is all said and done. So you kind of feel like as long as these two guys are not together in the arena, you might be able to get away with this. But I kind of feel like for this round, I probably say the advantage goes to the Bucks or Okada and Perry, because they've already established a well-oiled machine where FTR, Eddie Kingston, and Danielson, there's wild cards all over the place. You don't know if they're going to be a cohesive unit. So, I don't know. We'll see. It was a solid close. I'll say that much. I'm not, like you said, and I'm also agreeing with you on that. I'm not as happy because I would have preferred to see, a good main event there. Not what we got, but, give us an actual wrestling match. Not that. I'm not going to say anything more about that, but at the end, it's fine. 7.5 to 8 out of 10 is my overall rating. It was good for what it was worth. It wasn't great. The action was good. I just wasn't really too in about the rest of the night. And I gotta take some of the fans in Edmonton's attacks, man. You guys were boring. Where was the fire? Where was the intensity? Where was the excitement?
Remember, there is a Stanley Cup playoff series between the Edmonton Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks, and I heard that they had some big watch party, and they made that the number one priority than AEW.
Now I guess so, because holy freaking crap, man! Because you could hear a freaking pin drop during some of the matches. Like that's how
not what we got in France.
They were.
That's not what we got in France, was it?
Huh?
What did we get in France?
Oh hell no! What we got in France was an all-timer. That was one of the greatest things we've ever seen. But I mean, I gotta take the fans to task.
We went from that to this.
I mean, I gotta take the fans to.
Rogers Place is a pretty decent arena. It's a big arena. I mean, it's the home of the Edmonton Oilers, and from what I heard, there was a watch. They were planning a big watch party for the Edmonton Oilers for the start of their series against the Vancouver Canucks, which we'll get into on Friday night on TXN Sports World. But
I'll tell you right now, based off the scores. Based off the last update I just saw, it's looking very good for Vancouver, for Edmonton. They are looking amazing right now in Game 1.
When you got the hype on your team, of course.
Yeah. So
believe the hype.
No, you're definitely. I'm definitely believing it. So yeah, there's really nothing more to add. So Anthony, yeah, like I said, 7.5. It's yours.
7.5 to 8. Like I said, tonight's Dynamite was a heavy mix of storyline developments and matches. 5 may sound low for an episode of Dynamite, but it worked because all of the non-wrestling segments were spaced out well. Willow Nightingale's promo was great. The brawl to end the show was a fun way to hype anarchy in the arena, and Rocky Romero put up a valiant effort against Jay White in a great match. However, the best thing we saw all night was Brody King and Adam Copeland's bloody TNT title bout. The rated R superstar continues to prove that he's still got what it takes every time he steps into the ring. The card for Double or Nothing is shaping up nicely. Most of AEW's big stars are booked in matches now, but a few bouts will be added in the coming weeks based on what we saw on Dynamite. 7.5 to 8 out of 10. Yeah, I'm with you, MF. That was a dead crowd. But like I said, it's because of the watch party, because of the Edmonton Oilers. And I'm sorry, the Edmonton Oilers, when it comes to the people of Edmonton, the Edmonton Oilers are top priority. AEW, they're like, who cares?
Yeah, so I guess we'll wait and see how it plays out. So, there's really nothing more to add, and we're done. So I don't think there's really anything else to add. And actually, hold on. I want to give this fan a little bit of some love. I'm believing this is his rating for AEW. He's giving it an 8 out of 10. So I mean, it's fair enough. Thank you for the comment. You're always welcome to leave a comment at the bottom. You guys, give me your thoughts on the AEW show. What was your rating? So from this fan here, Anthony, can you pronounce the name on this one?
Fazby.
Fazby. Props to you, my friend. Thank you for staying up with us here tonight, and we are out of here, my friends. So
what about the Ranger Roundup? Or
I think we could hold. Do you want to hold off on it, or do you want to go into it?
I mean, it's obvious Bullock's not going to be on tonight. Otherwise, we would have done the Celtics and the Bruins. And considering that the NFL schedule is going to be released next week and not this week, which I'm very surprised about.
Yeah.
And our next show is not till Friday. So,
all right.
I'm thinking we could do, a quick Ranger Roundup and then call it a night.
Well, all right. I wasn't really going to be. I actually was.
Unless you want, if you want to push it back, that's more than fine. We can do that.
I was going to say, well, yeah, because the next game is tomorrow night too.
Okay. It kind of. Yeah, let's call it a night. It's cool.
You sure? Because the next Ranger game is not until tomorrow, so I wasn't gonna. I can get into it now. Just get it out of the way. So what we'll do is here. So let me just pull up the notes quickly. All right. So game 2 of the series was last night. It was the New York Rangers versus the Carolina Hurricanes, Madison Square Garden, New York City, and this was wild. So started out with Alexei Lafreniere scoring the goal at 10 minutes and 53 seconds. Keandre Miller and Alex Renberg getting the assists, and it was 1-0 New York. Then at 15:07, Jake Gansel getting the goal. Sebastian Aho and Sergachev getting the assist. Then Dmitry Orlov getting the goal with about 6 seconds left in the first period. Brady Shea and Sebastian Aho with the assist. Carolina with a 2-1 lead after one. Second period, it was once again Alexis Lafreniere scoring the goal. That was 7:32, and it was Adam Fox and Anteri Panarin with the assist. That gave it 2-2. Then again, right before the end of the third, period, the New York Rangers, the Carolina Hurricanes gets the goal to take the lead. Jake Guentzel gets it again. Sebastian Aho and Tony DeAngelo with the assist. That gave Carolina the 3-2 lead going into the third. Then power play for the New York Rangers, and they do not miss. Chris Kreider, his third of the playoffs. Vincent Trocheck and Anteri Panarin getting the assist, power play goal, and we were tied at 3, and it goes all the way into overtime. First overtime, no goals. Great opportunities, but nothing happened. Second overtime, big moment in the game, as it was Brady Shea getting a penalty, cross check on Vincent Trocheck that threw him into the box at 6 minutes and 37 seconds, and the New York Rangers makes them pay. Vincent Trocheck wins the game for the New York Rangers, assisted by Anteri Panarin and Mika Zibanejad. Power play goal at 7 minutes, 24 seconds. In overtime number 2, Rangers win 4-3 in overtime, in double overtime, to take the 2-0 series lead. The 3 stars of the game. Let me see if I can find that quick. Okay, number 3, Alexis Lafreniere. Number 2 was Igor Shesterkin, and number 1, Vincent Trocheck. Shot stats. This was absolutely crazy. So, shots on goal. Carolina, 57 shots to New York 39. Face off, Carolina won 50-44, 53% to 47%. Power play, again, was the difference. The Carolina Hurricanes 0 for 5 on the power play in this game. And Anthony, just to give you a complete rundown on this, Carolina is now 0 for 11 in the power play. New York 2 for 7 in the series already. 4 power play goals for the New York Rangers. That is why they are winning this series. The hits, New York was better, 32-29. Block shots, Carolina 40-27. And in every period, Carolina outshot New York. 13-11 in the first, 12-9 in the second, 17-9 in the third, 10-8 in the first overtime, 5-2 in the second overtime, and somehow, the New York Rangers finds a way to win. Anthony, it's the motto. No quit in NY. There has not been no quit. The Carolina Hurricanes threw everything, including the kitchen sink, at Igor Shesterkin, at the New York Rangers, and the Rangers, some way, somehow, digs down deep, and they have a 2-0 series lead going to Raleigh tomorrow night.
I know I'm going to sound like a broken record when I say this, and I can't say this enough. I freaking love Vincent Trocheck, man. What a godsend, man. I mean, if we end up going all the way, this guy should get the Conn Smythe. I'm telling you that right now. He's emerging as a Conn Smythe front runner. He really is. So let's get into the schematics here quick. For the New York Rangers, obviously Igor Shesterkin. He really, didn't really face much, in all these games so far. But last night was easily his toughest game. I mean, 54 saves on 57 shots, 29 straight games and 29 straight playoff games that he has allowed 3 goals or fewer. Second most all time. There's only one guy ahead of him, and it's his backup, Jonathan Quick. Quick, who's also on our team. So, but that was obviously that was back in his LA King days. I mean, when they won those the Stanley Cups in 2012 and 2014. But he had 34 such. But anyways, Igor played out of his mind, and I was waiting to see, a team, throw everything but the kitchen sink at Igor, and I'm glad that they finally did that because, he was averaging about like maybe in excess of 20 to 25 shots a game that I had noticed. 57 last night. I mean, easily the most. He definitely deserves to be a star of the game. Mika Zibanejad, 16 face-off wins. Vinny Trocheck, the hero, with the goal. 3 hits and a takeaway. Had 13 face-off wins. And let's see. Artemi Panarin, another standout. 3 assists, 4 hits on the night. Let's see what else I have. Panarin, let's see. Jacob Trouba, even though he committed some boneheaded penalties, where we heard that before 2 years ago, he had 6 hits and a takeaway on the night. Gustafsson with 3 hits, solid game for him. Alexis Lafreniere. I know I didn't say anything in the last Ranger roundup, but I was secretly hoping to see some more production out of him. And he's like, you don't have to say a word. I got you. He gave us 2 goals. I couldn't be any prouder. And he finally played like that number 1 pick from years ago. So about damn time he lit up the score sheet. Also had 2 hits on the night. Kreider with another goal, 2 hits. Cooley, 3 hits. And Barclay Goodrow, 2 hits, and also had 4 faceoff wins. And those were really the standouts for the New York Rangers last night. For Carolina, Frederick Anderson, 35 saves, 39 shots. Not bad at all. He made some nice saves during the game, but he let that last one get away. Let's see. Jordan Staal, 12 faceoff wins. He also had 4 hits. Sebastian Aho, I thought was the best player on the ice last night for the Carolina Hurricanes. 3 assists, had 2 hits. He had 18 faceoff wins. 18. Drury with 11 faceoff wins. Another one of my stars. Jarvis with 3 hits. Let me see. Kotkaniemi, 5 faceoff wins. Martinook with a couple of faceoff wins and a couple of hits. Teravainen played a solid game, and Jake Gensel with the 2 goals. Being that pain in the ass that he was when he was in Pittsburgh. Our old friend Brady Shea, 6 hits. Brent Burns with a few hits, and Chatfield with 2 hits and 2 takeaways. Chatfield was one of the standouts from last night for Carolina. But Brady Shea, how ironic! It was our old friend who made it all possible. Brady Shea, former Ranger, and he committed. He couldn't have picked a worse time to commit a boneheaded penalty, a la Jacob Trouba, and he did. And how fitting that our new friend Vinny Trocheck made him pay for it. So, what an investment by Chris Drury. Chris Drury, I can't say it enough. Thank you for Vinny Trocheck. On behalf of myself, MF, and all Ranger fans, we can't thank you enough for giving us this young man, for bringing this young man to us. And he has been nothing short of a godsend for the New York Rangers. This might be, I believe this is the missing piece. I think he's the missing link. At the rate we're going, MF, who knows? We just might have a legitimate shot at a winner here. So Oh boy, I'm still praying about it, man. I'm going to keep praying about this until next month, and hopefully next month, 1994 will be a thing in the past, and 2024 will be the new chant. So I know I'll be starting it. So 2-0 lead, but by golly, neither of them were easy. Both games tough, but game 2 far tougher. Not to say game 1 wasn't tough either, but you expected it. Carolina. I mean, but now this is where it gets tough for us now. We got to go there. Raleigh is a very, very tough place to win.
Oh, yeah.
And the Hurricanes are 15-4 in their last 19 home games in playoffs. Their last 19 Stanley Cup playoff home games, 15-4. But the Rangers had 2 of those 4. 2 of those 4 losses came at the hands of us.
We need, if you're New York, the mission is simple.
At least
just
one.
Try to get one of the next 2.
At least
one of the next 2.
And you messaged me last night when I messaged you about this. Out of excitement, obviously. When I messaged you, you said, and I quote, "I would prefer to get game 3 to really put the pressure on," and I agree.
Yeah, and I do agree, and I do believe that if we get game 3, then we can pick how we want to end this. We control the destiny on how we can end the series. If we lose game 4, just like they did, I think in 1994, they lost game 4, but then came back to win game 5.
That's right.
And move on to the next round. So if history repeats itself, New York wins tomorrow, they lose game.
They matched the 94 team for going 7-0.
Yeah. So this is if this is how the script got played out in 94, you win tomorrow, you lose on Saturday, it ends on Tuesday. On Monday. So we'll see. I would love to get this one, because that would also put a lot of pressure on like everybody is already starting to see that New York is getting there. We just need to finish it. Finish the job, put Carolina away. If we do this in short order, again, it gives all our guys time to rest, time to recuperate, and the guys who are already injured, the guys who already are on IR, with guys like Blake Wheeler and Filipino, this might even give them opportunities where they might be able to show up in the next round. So we'll see. Because now all of a sudden we're starting to hear Filipino might actually be able to be available.
Ooh.
Maybe Eastern Conference Final, maybe Stanley Cup Final.
Oh, wow. That would
yeah.
Be oh my goodness. Our chances at a winner would go up exponentially.
Yeah. So, and there's also talk about maybe Blake Wheeler might be available, possibly for the Cup Final if we get there. So, yeah, we'll wait and see. So it's going to be it's going to get very interesting, folks. So that's it. Now we're done. We're out of here. No show on Thursday. We're back on Friday with our traditional TXN Sports World. We're going to recover the second round of the NBA playoffs, second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and yes, you'll have the Bruins beat, you'll have the Ranger roundup, you'll have the Celtics chat. We'll be updating you with everything that's going on with their respective series. And until then, for Anthony Floyer and Michael Fletcher, so long, everybody, and we'll see you all on Friday.
Goodbye.